Hey, and welcome back to the Successful Marketing Summit. This is part 2 of my interview with Frida Boisen. Frida, I'm very happy to have you here. I know you have so much knowledge and capabilities that I want to be able to share with the audience. So, Frida, take it away.
Hello everybody, I'm Frida Boisen. Welcome to my home, actually. Your home at a very exclusive web online seminar, and I'm so glad that you wanted to join me. Today we're going to speak about social media, of course, one of my favorite subjects, and how to succeed in social media, and how to succeed also with social selling. And I will give you, of course, my best methods and keys to success, not at least when it comes to dark social. Because if you wonder, no, social media is not dead, but it has changed, and it has changed quite a lot in the last couple of years. Social media is in constant change, so this will be something that I will cover during this session. So let's dig in. Well, for you, those of you who doesn't know me before, I'm a Swede, obviously, and I have been working as a journalist and a publicist for most of my life. I've been an editor-in-chief for like 15 years or something like that, and a columnist, and I also work as a TV show host in Sweden. I do shows like this one, Trolljägarna, which actually focuses on social media and the bad sides of social media, the trolls that really use social media for all the bad purposes, to hate and to follow and to stalk people. And so what Robin and I are doing is that we're really hunting and chasing the trolls, and we confront them and ask them what they're doing. In Sweden, 96% of crimes on social media are not leading to a conviction, not even to a trial. And that is, of course, a threat to our society, to the free word. And that is something that worries me a lot, because in the end, it's really a threat to democracy. And today we're, of course, going to focus on how you can become a genius on social media and win with all the positive ways there is to make a change in social media. So let's get going. So why even put in time in social media, you might ask? Well, all of your customers are here. You can boost your business, you can boost your brand, you can learn more, and you can, of course, engage with your audience. And engagement is something that we will get back to. It's more important now than ever. You know, back in the day, it was thumb up for that one, and that worked as something that the algorithm would, kick in for. But today, it's really, I can't stress enough how important it is to really engage, get the conversation going. It's not enough with the thumb anymore. Since we had reactions, with all the hearts and the wows and laughs, they are, of course, more worthy, more value to the algorithms than the regular thumb. The comments are even more heavy, and of course, time is an issue. Every time you put out something on social media, it's like going to an audition. Your thing will be out there, and if no one has reacted for 8 minutes, well, the whole thing kind of dives. It's not that your whatever you wrote or published will be published for all of your followers. It will first be published for like a small group to see if it works there. And if you get a lot of thumbs, comments, shares, of course, is the most valuable thing of everything. Then the algorithm will see that, wow, this is really something that people want to interact with. So let's keep that going. Okay. To continue, of course, best of all, you can change the world with social media. Let's not forget that. That is why I love social media so much. It can be a great thing for democracy. Here in Sweden, I just live actually a couple of hundreds meters away from Greta Thunberg. She's 16 years old today, and she is changing the world, and she inspires me a lot. And I'm convinced that she couldn't have reached out the way she is reaching out today and touching so many people. I mean, millions and millions of people around the globe, and maybe even billions, And I would say she's one of the most influential and important leaders we have in the world right now. And her school strike for climate is something that she spread in social media that has influenced so many people. And I think that's a great example on how you really can change the world with social media. So why not you? That's something we're going to talk about. What touches your heart? What do you want to change? That is an important question to ask yourself, because that's where you have to start. If you don't know what you want to say, what you want to change with the world, well, then it's hard to make you to reach out. So you have to start from inside. What do you want to change? What do you want to talk about? And even though you want to raise your sales figures, you can't focus on the sales only today and thinking, well, I'm going to discount that, I'm going to discount that. No, that's not how it works today. Today, we're more value driven than ever. So if you really want your customers to be loyal to you, you have to do more than just sell a product. You have to sell a belief. We'll get back to that. So just to see for LinkedIn, I mean, LinkedIn is a good place to start if you are into business to business, of course. So don't miss out that. They have close to 600 billion followers. And of course, you have to think about what platform you should be on depending on who you really want to reach. I mean, if you want to reach 12 or 13 or 14 years old here in Sweden, well, now we have a rise for one platform called TikTok, which is a fun platform where you can do have music videos, and I mean, it's basically all about fun, a little bit like Snapchat. But if you want to reach other specialists talking about business, of course, LinkedIn is the right form. It's sort of like the conference room. I'm thinking about social media like a house. LinkedIn is, of course, the conference room where Snapchat and TikTok and all those kind of forums are like the playroom. I would say Facebook is like the living room where everybody passes along, maybe to stop by if they're seeing an old television set in the background because maybe the news are on, maybe something is happening, sort of like the hallway of everything. While Instagram is more like the beautiful veranda out to the world where you can really catch some beautiful moments, very image based. You know this probably, but how do you stand out? That's a very, very important question. And I would say the key learning is talk to the heart. That is so important. I've said it many times, but I can't emphasize it enough. It's so important. Talk to the heart. That's where you have to start. It's just the way it is. You can't skip that one. So what makes your heart beat? That's what you have to start with. What is it in your heart that really works? These are 4 keys to a viral pulse that I discovered during my years where I watched social media every day from morning to evening. And this is really what makes it all happen. It's anger, it's joy, it's warmth, and it's what I call fear. So anger, joy, warmth, and fear. I mean, it isn't enough just to be angry and shout out, but these are 4 feelings that really, touches us. So let's see an example. Oh. I think this is a really, really great story, and it touches me in such a good example of how you really can reach out with social media. This is Finansförbundet in Norway who made this movie, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It has everything. You get angry, you share, the girls thought, why this is unfair, and you feel warmth when you see how this problem. I mean, how can this even be a problem? We grown-ups have fighted this problem for thousands of years, and we haven't solved it. But the kids, they just, give them a couple of minutes, and of course they fix it, because otherwise it's not fair. To see the warmth between these kids are amazing. It's touching my heart, and I know it's touching a lot of other hearts out there, because this film has gotten millions and millions of viewers. And if I would live in Norway and be in the finance sector, of course I would want to join this union, because I couldn't not when they are talking about so important stuff. So good storytellers, really. So why people follow people with values that they share and know, and that's people that we want to do business with. And social sellers create 45% more sales opportunities and are 51% more likely to reach sales goals. So 5 reasons you should work with social selling. To walk into that subject, see, you can see a bit of our room here now. You get increased sales, reduced contact time, increased leads, deeper relations with clients, and faster sales cycles, and all that. Well, it becomes more money in the end. So how do you set your influencer strategy? First of all, you have to find your values, as I said in the beginning. Work with your team. I mean, this is an excellent teamwork. It's so much fun. So please do this at work. Do it with your family. Do it with your kids. To really sort out your values and what you have in your heart. That is so important. I really have to emphasize that again. If you want to talk to other hearts, you have such a short time. We don't have any time to wait around. We're so impatient nowadays. So you really have to know your subject, your heartbeat in there, and then you have to be so quick on catching the attention. So stick to your thing when you know your thing, stick to it. And I actually have an example here. As you can see, this is Johanna Nordström, which is a brilliant young woman that I had the opportunity to get an employment recruit a couple years ago. I worked then as the VP, Vice President, and Head of Digital for Bonnier, and I needed another great social media video expert. And we had one perfect one, and I asked him, do you have another one like you? Because, wow, you can really make magic. And he thought a bit and said, yeah, I know a girl named Johanna. She's brilliant. And I was like, well, ask her if she's interested. She was. So she came to the interview, and I said, okay, so Johanna, why are you interested in working here? And she was like, as a social media expert, and she was like, well, actually, what I really want to do is work as a comedian. I was like, okay, that's interesting. No one had said that before in an interview. And I was like, well, everybody needs comedians, really. So we need to laugh more at offices. So why not? And you know, to make people laugh is one of the most viral things there is. So I'm like, why not? We could use that. And she was like, and I want to be in front of the camera. I was like, great. Not many want to be in front of the camera. We need that too. So boldness is something you can't get enough of in social media. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's start, let's try it. And just a couple of years ago, she had, like all of us, she started out with 0 followers. I think now she's somewhere around 200,000 followers. And let's remember, this is a Swedish influencer. So Sweden is a kind of small country with, what are we, 9 million inhabitants right now? So very limited language, but still super success, I must say. So she decided 2 things. She decided that what she values in life is that she thinks that people should laugh more. We have so much trouble getting people healthy when it comes to psychological health. So she said and thought, well, if I can make people laugh more, I could make them feel better. So I'm going to be all about humor, all about comedy and laughs, and I want to do everything in video. And that is something I learned as well. Of course, that's when I wanted to recruit more video creators, because video today is really the new native language for all of us. So that is something you really have to understand and be better at mastering. I mean, it doesn't matter if when I grew up, was better than my kids are in writing, because our generation was better than that. But that doesn't really matter. I mean, you can't, keep on being a dinosaur storyteller and just work with the written words. You really have to know how to talk to the heart in a video kind of way. So important. So practice, people, if you haven't done it before. It's very, very, very important, of course. So anyways, we recruited Johanna, and her numbers went up. And she was very, very strict in her influencer strategy. And she also talked about valuing your data. And that's, of course, something I know that most of you are doing out there. But I mean, basically, sometimes I get questions, what program should I use and so forth. And there are many good ones out there. There are some that are expensive, some that are for free. And of course, you can also use, for example, at Instagram business and so forth. Basically, I would say keep it pretty simple. Do more of what people like, do less of what people doesn't like. I mean, it's kind of easy. And also ask them, what do you want to see more of? And give them examples. And of course, dare video, very important. This one is also important. Of course, be at the right place at the right time. I don't know if you're single, but if you are and want to, find someone new, you wouldn't want to go to a nightclub and at, Sunday, 10 a.m. No one will be there. It's sort of the same when it comes to social media. I mean, when you post is also a very, very important factor. So it's just to put yourself in the customer's perspective. When do you want to be entertained? Because really what you want from social media is entertainment. You want to learn something. You want to feel that you're alive. You want to feel something, and you want to grow. I think living and being a happy person is a lot about learning stuff. So think about it. I mean, the morning train, as I say in social media, that leaves pretty early in the morning. I mean, you can't post your thing at 9 o'clock. I mean, what are everybody doing at 9 o'clock? They're at work already. They're busy. They're working. You want to catch them on the way to work, when they're having a boring time, when they're commuting, and when they're sitting on a boring bus or whatever. That's when you want to hit it. Same time, before lunchtime, what should they talk about? They have to be interesting at lunch hours. And also, when they have a dip in the afternoon, that's the perfect time to post. And of course, in the evenings when they get home. So find, these times, of course, differs a lot when you have different target groups. I mean, if you want to reach young mothers and fathers with young children, well, I would say from experience that Saturday mornings, 6 a.m., perfect timing to reach the young parents, because they have no one else to talk to and they really want to be entertained. They just have a little 1-year-old climbing all over them. So That's one thing. Recruiting business to business. This is an important one. This is a Swedish example saying, I need a co-pilot. Is this you? And we get to follow this CEO who needs a co-pilot. And instead of posting a boring ad on what she really needs, she does this. She takes the camera with her. She posts the video, and she's saying, come with me, see what we're doing in here. And she joke a little bit with a camera person, and you get a really good feeling on who you will work with. And I think that's an excellent example. I've said this to so many people I've met around in different countries when I've been out speaking, and I've had so much feedback with people trying this, and it works so well. So you really want to try that. Gamification is something that I love as well. So if you're working with social selling on LinkedIn, which is I think is really something that you should try and put your effort into. It will be more fun if you're reaching your goals, setting new goals, and so forth. So check out the social index for you. I mean, it's really free to get started. You just Google it, basically, social selling index, and go for the first one that is an ad. Click on it and get your free score. And there you can also have some feedback on what you're good at and what you should improve at. So check that one out. That's really a good one. 6 social media trends right now. Let's go to that one. Intertelling, that's a term that I invented myself. We will get into that. It's storytelling 2.0, you could call it. It's not storytelling the old-fashioned way. It's the new-fashioned way. It's the one that really works. We will penetrate that one. Stories, very important. Live, video, dark social, and influencers. Let's look at that. Okay, so if you want to become an expert in intertelling, engagement is everything. So 3 keys to intertelling: stay curious, solve challenges together, and be generous. I really, really love to be generous. And think about it yourself. Are you generous enough? Could you be more generous? Usually we can be. I mean, have you scrolled your social media posts and just seeing a person being on let's open Instagram here. Let's see if I can find some good example. Just scrolling through here. This is summer. Here is someone posting a picture of his kids saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of these 2," and say I didn't have two kids that I was proud of us and longing for children. Instead of going, "Oh, this is too painful, and now he thinks he's gonna get a like from this," and just do this and feel a little bit better. Do it the other way around. Push a like and say something nice from your heart. Say, "Wow, I'm so happy for you. The best gift in life. And I'm so proud to see that you are a proud father. Keep on doing the great work that you're doing." I mean, that's something that shows that you're a person that has a heart, that beats for good values. And really, the more you give, the more you gain in the end. So you can't really give enough. So try to be a better giver. That's the start of, I would say, a lot of meaningful relationships in social media and in life, of course. So, can you see this example? It's kind of shady. I thought I should mention an example that I put out on LinkedIn a while ago. It's really about when I was in 8th grade. We had wood shop at school. And it was me and the guys in the class, really. And our teacher said to us, "Okay, so everybody, I have to leave the classroom for a while. Sorry, but this machine you can't touch. It's off limits. Okay, do you understand?" And we were like, "Yeah, we understand perfectly." So he went away, and I went to another machine that we could use, and I stood with a back to the classroom and worked with this thing that I was making. And in the end of the class, our teacher came back, and the forbidden machine was ruined. Something happened. Someone had been obviously tampering with it, and it was broken. And it was an expensive machine, and the teacher was very upset and asked who it was, and no one came forward. So our homeroom teacher had sort of a what do you call it, like a questioning thing. It was like an investigation. So he called us in one and one later that day, and we have, I was called in last, so I sat down with our teacher, and he said, so, okay, Frida, so how did that happen? Who broke the machine? And I was like, I don't have a clue. I don't know. Honestly, I stood with my back to the classroom all the time. I didn't see anything. I was just focusing on my work. It was like, come on, Frida, you have to tell the truth. Who broke the machine? I was like, I don't know. I would tell you, but I don't know. I'm sorry. And he just continued like that, and we did that like 10 times. And he said, well, Frida, you're not leaving this room until you say who broke the machine. And everybody else has already told me who it was. It was Martin, right? Martin did it. Can't you just, say that it was him so you also can leave? And I was like, okay, did everybody else say that it was Martin? Then I guess it must have been Martin. So I just said, yeah, okay. And then I was excused. And the next morning, when we came to class, Martin's chair and table was empty, and I noticed that there was a mother and father standing by the blackboard, and with my teacher, and I didn't get a good feeling at all. And our teacher said, well, this is Martin's mother and father, and they have something really important to talk to you guys about. And I noticed the mother her eyes were all red, and she was holding this letter in her hands. And she started saying, well, Martin didn't get home last night, but he left this note on his bed for you, and it is for you. And then she started reading, and the words were something like, well, all of you in this class hate me. We have known that for a long time. And then he described when he came to the class and he became an outsider, and he described how important every hello was. And he mentioned me as one of the ones saying hello at times. And then he wrote, but when even Frida yesterday said that it was me who broke the machine, I felt I can't take this no more. This is too much, and I'm going to put an end to it. So I'll make it easy for you, and you don't have to see me ever again because I've had it. So I'm going to walk up to the Älvsborgs Bridge, a very, very high bridge in Gothenburg, sort of like the Golden Gate Bridge, a little bit smaller though, but in Gothenburg in western Sweden, and I'm going to put an end to this. And right there and then, I kind of stopped breathing because I felt, of course, what have I done? How could I let down one of my classmates like that? And it was like the most horrible moment in my life up till then. And luckily, when he stood up there and looked down to that black ocean down there, he felt he didn't have the courage to jump. Thank God. So instead of that, he took the train to Copenhagen. And when he came to Copenhagen a couple of hours later, he realized, I don't have any money. I don't know where to go to, because he just had this idea, maybe I should just run away and never come back. So instead of that, he called his parents and said, I'm in Copenhagen. And they immediately, of course, came and fetched him up. And I'm so lucky and grateful that he did that, because it gave me another chance in life to become a better person. And for all of us in our class to really do the right thing and to choose inclusion instead of exclusion, to see a person instead of shutting him out. So the next day we went down to him, a couple of people from the class as a delegation sort of, and we handed him over like an old record. It was a couple of decades back. This and oh God, I will always remember that moment. And we said, we're so sorry. And actually, after that, it became better. So I wrote about this story in a column in Aftonbladet, the biggest newspaper in Sweden, and I wrote a short story on this at LinkedIn. And I also said that the problem is that we have in Sweden today 50,000 children that are going to school every day feeling that no one loves me, everybody hates me, no one will say hello, no one, I am invisible. How is that possible? How can this be Sweden in 2019? This has to change. How can we change it? That's what I'm writing in. How can we change it? What are your thoughts on this very important issue? And I also mentioned a principal that I met on a digital conference called Payman Vahiri, and he's from the north in Sweden, and he was so upset about this question, this issue. So he actually invented an app that he pushed out to all of his students every day, asking one question, the most important question: are you feeling safe in school today? And if anybody pushed the red no, and immediately he had a push as a principal, and he immediately the same day always took care of that question. And I thought that was an amazing innovation. So I mentioned that one, and I said, and I also addressed the minister in Sweden and said, what do you think? How should we work to solve this issue together? And that is really the key question nowadays. It's not all about you. That's old storytelling, that you have an idea and you just want to push it out and sell it out. That's not how it works anymore. Today you have to work with intertelling. So you see a problem, because there are problems in life and in the world, and we want to change that. We want to make it better. So the question is, how can we do it? How can we do it together? What can you do? What can I do? How can we solve it together? And that is intertelling, to find the solution here together. So this post had, hundreds and thousands of interactions in just a couple of days, and millions of people read the story in just a couple of days in Sweden. So that's one example on how you could use intertelling. And also there were really, really good solutions that came out of this, and everything from me being connected to a big association in Sweden called Friends, and we thought maybe we could work together, and now we will, to solve this issue, and also all sorts of businesses and leaders that got involved in this question. So I think we actually might have changed a little bit just from this one post. Okay, so stories. I hope you're familiar with stories on Instagram, and I know there will be more story features in other platforms, maybe like LinkedIn, I've heard, and so forth. I think it's a very, very good idea to use stories, because that's also a great way of using intertelling. It has all these features on how to interact. There are new features like every day, new polls, new, thing scales where you can grade how much you do or whatever. And that's so much fun. So you should really go into stories. If you're not using stories today, use it, and do more of the intertelling business. Be an intertelling expert. Business in Sweden. Most intertelling wins, it says. Engagement is everything. I do a lot of keynote speaking, and here I was talking about social media health, and I was giving all this good hints on how you can how you could feel more healthy using social media. Of course, own your feed, get rid of the stuff that doesn't give you any positive things, prioritize your own health in social media, what you feel good about, try digital detox, and so forth, turn off notifications. I mean, it's easy. And I asked the question, does social media make you happy, inspired, or stressed or irritated? And I asked this, and also and very interesting results. And also I said, if the answer is irritated, try to, clean up your social media channels and flows, away with the people that doesn't give you anything, and more of the people that gives you energy and boost and new learnings and stuff. And and then I said, for you that are just getting irritated and stressed, try to follow the comedian that you had in the example earlier, Johanna, and you'll feel better. I guarantee it. So also getting your best, to be generous again. I mean, don't forget, you're an expert. Whatever you're an expert in, even if it's flowers or social media, or if it's selling, or if it's shoes, whatever. If you share your learnings, people will get something from following you, and they will be grateful. So when you are giving something, it doesn't have to be all about positive feedback or opening up. It could be, sharing your knowledge. So share more and be relevant to your flow. And to try live is a good thing. This is actually when I'm at the world opening premiere for The Crown, a Netflix series. Of course, yeah, I hope you saw it. It's a great one from Britain, and it's about the Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of Britain. And I'm there, and I mean, it's kind of an exclusive thing, and I'm at the after party here, and I'm about to interview the leading star. And in the beginning of this video, she's standing right in the background here somewhere. This is me talking to another beautiful person about the event. And I'm asking all my followers, so what questions do you want me to ask the leading actress when I walk up to her? So that's also a way to include your followers and give them power, really. So the more power you give your influencers, the more VIP you make them. The more VIP you make them feel. Of course, they will feel happier. So make them VIP. Oh yeah, and this is a good example. I think this is Mimi. Mimi, she's the mayor, or was the mayor, of a small city community called Hofors in Sweden. And I was up there lecturing it was a room full of business-driven women, basically. Were like, I don't know, maybe 60 of them in the room. And as it wasn't that many, I mean, it wasn't thousands of people, which I have sometimes, but this was a smaller group, and I asked them, could you just quickly say your name and what you're actually doing? And she said, well, I'm Mimi, and I'm actually the mayor here. I was like, wow. And I had just then arrived from another seminar that I led for thousands of people, that just addressed democracy and the possibilities with digitalization. And I was a bit upset when I went from there, because I was feeling we're not using the digital tools as well as we could. So I said to her, well, how do you communicate with all of your inhabitants in this room? Do you send them a weekly email and say, this is what we've been doing in the lately, or how do you communicate with them? And I've never had an email like that from a major. I don't know if you have, please mail me. But I said, what if you would start a Facebook Live thing every week? Just one format. You do it every week, like a TV show. And you just say, hi, this is me, Mimi, everybody, the mayor. And now you've been asking yourself, what have I been doing last week? Let me tell you what we've been working on in the city. We have, started a new preschool, and say hi and welcome to Anders, which is the principal of the preschool. I know you have some opening for 1 year old, so if you have a 1-year-old back there, just turn in your application to Anders. And here we have Mohammed, which is our new park expert. And as you know, we have a park that we have to grow new trees in. So what kind of trees would you like to grow in the park? Please ask your questions to Mohammed, and so forth. Would you like that? I asked the auditorium, and everybody said, yes! They're like all stood up, and yay! And I asked Mimi, so when can you get started? And she turned around, asked her fellow communicators that were with her and the communication experts. And then she turned to me and she said, Friday. And I think this was Wednesday. So I was like, wow. And I said, well, a couple of hints. Don't give up. I mean, if there's no one watching first week, so what? Maybe they will turn up second week. So, be persistent. And number two, uh, give it a catchy name, something that everybody can understand what it is easily. Uh, and uh, and thirdly, what did I say? Thirdly, well, I said just dare, just go for it. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? And think of it as a TV format. Do it every week, every time. Same thing. And so she did. I was very excited. I was sitting there Friday waiting. And there it came. Friday, 3 o'clock, she posted Mimi's Minutes. Good, catchy, and you understand what it is. It's Mimi's Minutes. It's her minutes. So she said, hello, this is me. And I don't know if you can see, she's standing in front of, I don't know, in Sweden call it Vepa. And it says Hofors, and you can see they're all like not perfect. But hey, this is not perfect either. I just put it together at home here. But the most important thing sometimes is I just do it. It's genuine. This is my home. This is her work. And she invited her followers to actually join her work. She didn't have a steady cam, so it was a little bit wingly, twingly. Didn't matter. It was genuine. And she said, as I told her, just say, hi, this is Mimi, and I want to share with you what we were working on the last week. And I really, really want to hear your comments, your feedback, and what you should think I should focus on. And do you want to invite me to somewhere in the city? Please do. I'll be happy to join you. And that was really amazing. She was first out in Sweden, maybe the world, to do this. And it had some beautiful effects. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I sometimes visit trolls and so forth in social media. This was the most loving thing I've seen in social media. So many people interacted with her saying, oh, you're doing a fantastic job. Wow, wow, wow. So get inspired by Mimi. Try it. A leader should lead. Leading is wanting. Okay, so what is Dark Social? And why do we do it? Well, why? The effect is 6 times 6. Dark social is really what happens under the surface. I mean, yesterday we worked with, everyone posted everything out to everybody. That's history. Nowadays, we are more and more focused to going into, niched groups where we want to be very, very relevant to the groups. So, for instance, I have my daughter is away riding horses for a couple of days, and we have a little, what is it? It's on WhatsApp, a little group with parents, sharing pictures on what the girls are doing and their horses and everything. I have a messenger group with some of my best friends. I have a group on Signal, another social media platform, with my some of my best journalist buddies that we're talking journalist stuff with. And, I have another closed Facebook group for my son and his soccer team, where I love live broadcast all their soccer games. And it's great because all their grandparents that are living elsewhere can follow them. So that is really about being relevant. I mean, if I would post my son's soccer stories to all my followers, I guess most people wouldn't be super interested in following these 11-year-olds. So it's all about, again, being relevant. And really, the dark social is dominating the sharing activity. This is really an interesting picture. 84% of the sharing activity is dominated by dark social. So get into the dark social matter if you haven't tried it. You're a publicist, so be a publicist. What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, you could end up with this, lots of threats. In the best case, I mean, I've had so many threats, and it hasn't been nice at all. And I've been sitting in some quite difficult situations. But remember, it's always a very, very small group. On the best days of work, you are voted most powerful in Sweden, even more powerful than the king. This is the Swedish king. He was ranked number 90. I was ranked number 77. It was really all due to the work I did in social media and how it affected the people of the city. Back then, I was the editor-in-chief on GT in Göteborg, and what I did was actually to start campaign called Vote GBG, which is short for Gothenburg, and it was really a social media action that called upon the Gothenburgers to have their vote, to be able to vote, and to have a referendum on a question. And it was so much activity on social media that we started to raise this question, and it actually led to a public referendum, all due to the social media campaigns that we had been driven, all based on values that I shared and that the newspaper shared, the important questions of freedom of speech. And I thought that everybody should have the freedom of speech and have their voice heard in this question. So in San Francisco, they were very impressed with this work. So we actually received the World Championship awards in social media, sort of at the INMA Awards, the National News Media Association Award. So all the publicists in the world were there, and actually, Times of India, the largest newspaper in the world, Facebook was there, Google was there, and little teeny weeny, the Gothenburg paper, the Tidningen and GT, was awarded best use of social media in the world, and that was of course very, very big. We were a very small editorial team due to cutbacks, tough times. But it's a reminder, you don't have to be the biggest group to reach out. You just have to be, the best. So to round it up, it's called social media, and in 5 minutes you'll be a pro too. Practice, practice, practice. Such an important rule. If you need to practice your intertelling skills, do so. I mean, it's not hard. Try every day. Try. And be quick to return when people interact with you, interact back. Say first, set the agenda. I mean, if you see a trend, I'm sure you see trends in your field every day, share your knowledge. Don't sit there and hold it, share it, not only with your husband or your best friend or whatever, share it to the world. I mean, that's when you become an influencer and, a really important person in your field that people will turn to and want to listen to. Don't be shy, dare to ask first. I mean, social media is, of course, about relations. So to get your network growing, don't be shy. Dare. Go #fishing. Not if you're a 13-year-old in Sweden, it's so out. But if you're a grown-up and you work with platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn, hashtags really, really work. So use them because people are using them and the algorithms are using them. Ping the people that you talk about. You want to be generous and you want to use intertelling. You have to, hint to people that you are really liking what they're doing. So use a little and, write their names in there. Choose your forum. I mean, if you want to talk fashion, food, of course, it's Instagram. If you want to go into being super relevant in your little teeny weeny area in, what do I know, user experience, whatever, don't send it out to everybody that's following you. If there are thousands of different, maybe your friends, whatever, that won't understand anything, be relevant. Why not try dark social? Choose your forums. And as I said earlier, stay active in conversations. And remember, when it comes to dark social, you don't have to start every group yourself. There might be a group already. You could ask the administrator if you could, buy the group if they have grown tired of it. Or you could just get inspired and start another group with a similar name. Like and share, be generous. I've emphasized this quite a bit during this session, but I think it's so important. You can't emphasize it enough. We really have to work on this, all of us. So do that. And to round it up, 5 keys to digital success. Videos. That is the native language. So dare dark social. I really, really emphasize that you should try it. Engage. So important. It's everything today. Talk to the hearts. That is where you have to start. And help the customers. Share your knowledge. Be generous. That is really the most important things to start with. And now, time for your digital and social success. It's your turn. This is really what I wanted to share with you today. I'm so happy and honored that you wanted to join me. Please, let's stay in touch. If you have any questions, ask me. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also some other channels, but this is where I'm most frequent. So you're very, very happy to ask me. I'm happy to have all your questions, really. So happy that you could check in with me and say hello. And if you want me to come and lecture for you live, I do that a lot. I do keynotes all over the world. I've been to Sao Paulo in South America. I've been to California, and I've been to Sweden and Finland and Warsaw and everywhere. So I would love to come to your place. Just ask me and I'll come. So hope to see and hear from you again. And until then, I'll say hello and bye-bye for now. Bye.